Today we're at one of the main streets in Chinatown. This is Grand Street, and behind me is leading to Canal and Center Street, and on this other side that leads to the Bowery. But on this street you're going to find a bunch of good Chinese restaurants. There's always been good restaurants on the street, and we're going to go to one that was opened in 2019 and considered one of the better Chinese restaurants in Manhattan's Chinatown. It's called Green Garden Village. Hi, this is Arthur from the Minute Review Show. If you have a minute, I have an opinion. Today I'm taking you to Green Garden Village, a Cantonese restaurant that has been well received by publications such as Eater New York and The New Yorker. Some consider it one of the best Cantonese restaurants in New York's Chinatown. It's located on Grand Street in Manhattan. Okay, let's take a look at the menu. And in the menu, we have a 4-page menu. It's you're going to see the appetizers. We're going to have some soup here, and over here we have meat. Now this is the pork and the beef all integrated into one part of the menu. This is basic Cantonese Chinese food. And over here we have a giant seafood section, and this is it. You can see the mixture of fried and also stir-fried dishes. They're all here. And here's a casserole section. Basically these are clay pots that are cooked with stir-fried food inside, and they're served in a clay pot. This is the chicken section. As you can see, there's many selections here, and from what I can see, the prices are totally reasonable. I'm seeing some $17 and $16 selections here. The seafood is definitely more expensive. And here's the vegetable section. There's the fried rice section and the noodles section. And on the back we have some noodle soups. We have Hong Kong style lo meins and different types of fried rice on the bottom, and chow fun. Hi, today I'm at Green Garden Village, and I read quite a bit about Green Garden Village in 3 different articles in the New York Times, in Eater, and also in the New Yorker magazine. And this place was opened in 2019, I believe, and it said that it's one of the best Cantonese restaurants in Chinatown, in Manhattan's Chinatown. So yeah, this place is very promising. Most of the reviews that I've read have been extremely positive, and today I'm going to try an assortment of 4 different dishes and see how things are. My expectations are pretty high, so I hope I'm right. Here's the complimentary tea. I believe it's a black tea, and looks nice and rich. Now, the reason why I need the black tea is because if some of these dishes are oily, this will help cut some of the grease from the food, and it'll increase your appetite. I've been looking around the dining room, and I've noticed that there are about 9 to 10 tables in the dining room, and some are 4-seaters, and there are maybe 2 that are fit for maybe 10 people. So if you want to bring a group, you could definitely bring a group here. The first dish arriving at my table was the sweet and sour ribs. It's made exactly just as regular sweet and sour pork, with the exception that the pork is in the form of spare ribs. The first 2 dishes have finally arrived, and they're looking very good. I'm having the sweet and sour spare ribs. Now basically it's not sweet and sour pork, it's spare ribs. There's a bone in the middle, and there's pork wrapped on the outside, so you know, it's half bone, half meat. But from what I can see, this dish is very similar to sweet and sour pork. You have the onions, and you have the pineapples and the bell peppers integrated into the dish. Now let's give it a try. The pieces are plentiful actually, and this is what it looks like. Nice and shiny. No, that's wonderful. It's really nice. The pork is nice and tender, fried perfectly, and nice, sweet and tangy, just the way I like it, and it's totally classic. Did I mention that they give you a lot? So this is totally worth it in my book. The second dish that came to my table was the seafood casserole. It came in what appeared to be a stone bowl, which helped retain the heat. The next dish up is the seafood casserole. Now, the seafood casserole has 3 types of seafood in it. There's scallop, there's shrimp, and there's also squid. And it comes with tofu. So let's try the tofu first. I'm dipping into the sauce, and this is what the tofu looks like. Okay, is the deep fried tofu, and the sauce that it's dipped in is very strong in oyster sauce flavor. It's very tasty. The sauce is thick enough to coat the tofu and gives it really nice mild flavor. Now let's try the seafood in this dish. There's 3 components. One is the shrimp. Is it? The second component is the scallop, which is this. It's cut into halves. And finally, the final component is the squid, which is this. Not the tentacles, but the squid body. These are excellent. All of them have absorbed the oyster sauce based sauce. They're all tender, and once again, for this bowl, I think it's about $20 or $22. There's plenty of food. It's really good. They're very generous with the portions. The third dish that arrived was fried noodles with dried squid. If you're bold, you must try this dish. Okay, the next dish that I ordered is the fried noodles, stir-fried noodles with dried squid. Now, it's a bit of a misnomer because it's not only dried squid, it's also shrimp, as you can see here, dried squid, which is this, and also there's chives and green onions, and also some regular onions. Now, what I love about this dish, and not many people who like Chinese American dishes, not many people know that this dish exists. What I love about this is that it's a dry stir fry, and as you can see, these noodles are stir fried in a very hot wok, and it dries out the noodle. But what's left is a nice crispy and dry texture, which makes this dish extra special. The other thing that makes this dish special is that this dried squid has a lot of umami. When you dry it out and then you reconstitute it and you recook it, there's lots of seafood umami in this. It's quite wonderful. Okay, now let's get into this. Let's try first the squid. This is very good. It's tender, firm and tender at the same time. But surprisingly, it's not that salty. Very interesting. Now let's try the shrimp. Okay, it's very nice. The shrimp has been stir-fried over oil, and gives a slight crispy texture to the outside. It's delicious, and it's been seasoned well. There's salt in it. And finally, we have the noodles. Now the noodles, the dry part that I've been talking about is this one. So let's give this a try. You can taste the soy sauce in this. Wonderful. Now, this is usually made with a dark soy sauce with a little light soy sauce in it to give it some salt. And the saltiness is quite wonderful to this dish. But I love the texture. That's why I order this, because of the texture. It's wonderful. I highly recommend it if you come here. The final dish that I ordered was the fried oyster. It's a simple dish, but executed splendidly by the chefs at Green Garden Village. The next dish I ordered is the fried oysters, and basically it's just a batter fried oyster with a golden batter, as you can see. Okay, this is a whole oyster, and look at the size of this. This is huge. This is about a 2-inch oyster, and let's give this a try. Wow, the outside is totally crunchy. The oyster is super fresh. There's no fishiness, nothing old about it. It's totally fresh. And they also provide you with a sweet and sour sauce. So I'll dip that in. After I dip it in, this is what it looks like. This is the sweet and sour sauce. Let's try this. Okay, you have the sour element, definitely vinegar based, and you have the sweetness. I can taste the sweetness, but the great thing about this is that it's not overly sweet and it's not overly sour. It's perfectly balanced, and it just goes well with this. It's perfect flavor. And one thing that I can say about oysters in general is that when you go to restaurants, sometimes they give you the tiny little ones. They're about like an inch long, but this one, they really go for it. They give you the big ones. And like I said, I saw most of these are about 1.5 inches to 2 inches long. Some I even see 2.5 inches, so definitely worth it. And once again, not that expensive. I think this dish is under $20. Okay, the meal is finally over, and I have a ton of leftovers, as you can see from here. And what I want to do is to give a summary as to all these dishes. Now, the first one is the seafood casserole. This one is definitely mild in the Cantonese style. It's perfectly salted, nice umami from the oyster sauce. Very balanced and a good portion. I think this one may have been $20 for an order. This one is the fried oysters, and this one I definitely enjoyed a lot. In fact, I think this may have been the best dish because of the number of oysters you get, and also the quality of the oysters. It was super fresh. The sauce was a huge plus too. This one is the fried sweet and sour spare ribs. This was actually very excellent too. This is more, they didn't have the sweet and sour pork, but just the spare ribs. But this is a great substitute. It's basically the same thing, and it was also very balanced, just like the other sauce that we had over here. And finally, we have the pièce de résistance. This is one of my favorite dishes. This is the stir-fried noodle with dried squid. This has that nice crunch to it, to the dried noodle, and has the umami from the squid. Absolutely delicious. I highly recommend this. If you haven't tried this, you should try it. And Green Garden Village definitely makes a good version of this. And once again, it's not expensive. I believe this is $18 if I remember correctly. So here, feast your eyes, and this is something that you might want to try when you come here. You know that today, as I was walking to Green Garden Village, I noticed that there were so many different restaurants that I could try, but it's very difficult to do a channel when there's so many different options. So what I generally try to do is to choose restaurants that have been reviewed by the mass media, and I think usually I think they're right in giving exposure to these types of restaurants. Green Garden Village is one of those restaurants, but I'll also go to smaller restaurants that aren't as famous. But what I can say is that if you like Cantonese food, yeah, I barely scratched the surface here. They have roast meats here too that are Cantonese, and those are also well reviewed. I wish I had 10 mouths and I can eat everything, but this is, I think, a good example of what you can get here. So if you like this video, you could always check out my other videos, and also subscribe. I'm still building this channel, and I hope to get to 1,000 pretty soon. And thank you for joining me, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video. I wanted to share a little secret about this place. It seems that all the workers here speak Chinese. So if you speak Chinese, feel free to practice your Chinese. It'll be a lot of fun. The final bill before tip was $79.50.